Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you. Of course. Anyway, folks, welcome aboard this Patrick Magner, first one in the house. Hey, Patrick, don't forget to go ahead. Oh, Patrick, I need you to do me a favor. I want to make sure these phones are working. So if you're at a place that you can give me a call, go ahead and give me a call at 281-823-7747. Welcome aboard, John Cotter, activist and leader of the Humble Area Democrats. Welcome, my brother. We also have Do You Lie? He says to me, all late topics. If you want to be in front of things, talk AI. But for you, it does not matter much. You're not in the working world. Now you just talk crap. So are you here, my dear brother? Do you lie? Tell me, why are you here if what I am speaking is crap? First of all, if let's see if it works. Patrick Magner, so can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
And I can hear you, so we are working. So when you're ready to call back, please feel free to do so, my brother. All right?
Sounds good.
All right, my man. Thank you for checking it up for me. All right, folks. Okay, let's get back to Do You Lie? Because, there are some people that when they put the negativity out there, I ignore it, generally speaking. But sometimes you want to address it, right? Because sometimes when you leave stuff into the ethos, people believe it. No, my brother, I stay on topic. If you go to our Substack, you see that we handle the AI topic in detail. In fact, pointing out that AI is incompatible with that capitalism is incompatible with AI. But again, that requires you to read and not just sit back and run between one video after another, my dear brother. So again, no, we cover many subjects, and you are not the sole purpose that this show or this program is designed for. This program is for everybody, and everybody has input into this program. And they email me, they send me notes, and I listen. You know what I mean? So, Mr. Always having to be critical instead of giving a what we would call constructive criticism, instead of trying to destroy that which is aiming to aid. Hey, chill out. Joe from Los Angeles, California, welcome aboard. We also have Brittany, my beautiful Brittany from Pennsylvania, but she wants me to make sure that it's the northern part of Pennsylvania, the Jersey part of Pennsylvania, you know what I mean? I hear you, Brittany. I listen to you, Brittany. Hey, Jenny, how you doing? And March KJ says, do you lie? Sorry, but AI has nothing to do with being in the front. It's a tool to help people out. The mentally ill, rich, whiny white guys want to take away working people's independence. Won't happen because realistically, AI is a tool. That's it. From Marge KJ. Hey, Marge, how you doing, beautiful? Beach Love is in the house as well as Lee the Bearcat, who says, what is Rokana saying? He wants to take one time 5%. So does that mean he gives some of his $200 million? Again, you guys like to look at things on an individual basis, Lee the Bearcat. If he has $200 million, I am sure he doesn't mind giving the 5%. But here's the thing. I am much higher than the 5% I think the working class is deserving from the wealthy, because the wealthy's wealth was built on the backs of the working class. I'm talking about the janitor. I'm talking about the guy who sweeps the streets. I'm talking about the airline pilot, the bus driver. I'm talking about the engineer. I'm talking about the doctor. All this wealth was built on their backs, and many have not been compensated for such wealth relative to what the wealthy has extracted. So let me tell you better. If I had $10 million and they levied a 25% tax on my $10 million, I'll be very honest with you guys. I'll be superbly honest with you. If I was able to amass $10 million and there was a tax to make America better of 25% or 30%, I would have no problem, absolutely no problem paying that to better the country. It behooves me that we always consider ourselves so magnanimous, so benevolent, so caring for people. And we look at having an abundance and not feel that sharing that, which, to put it bluntly, you had to be fortunate to achieve. Because I tell you something, let me tell you something. Welcome aboard, Lisa Blair from Atlanta, Georgia. Let me tell you something. I When you take a look at people that have excelled, there is a percentage of en- it's not entropy, but there's a percentage of what's the word that you use when when it's by chance that it came out that way. I always use singers as an example. In my wife's church, there are singers. I mean, there are some women and guys that can sing like no other. Some of them sound much better than Beyonce. They sound much better than what's the number one, the billionaire woman that sings, and she released an album a few months ago. You know who I'm talking about? Um, can't remember her name right now. They sing better than all of them. But by chance, they weren't recognized, discovered, or whatever by the people who choose who they are going to put out there. When I talk about being a billionaire, being a multi millionaire, you have to be chosen. Many are like, oh no, just work hard and you'll attain it. No, not really. You have to be, for most multi-millionaire, you either have to have grown into it, and tell you the truth, I don't know where your parents got it, but the second one is you have to be invited. You hear what I'm saying? Jackie Campizzi from Katie says, good afternoon. I had surgery, so my schedule has been off. I hope you're doing fine, Jackie. I think if you're here, at least you can watch and listen and maybe lie down a bit, take care of yourself. But my positive affirmations to you, my sister. Leader Bearcat says 4,400 millionaires created, including the support staff, two from IPO. There you go. They were chosen. I want you to tell me, if I am somebody that that happened to be fortunate enough to get a job at SpaceX, whether it be a janitor or a secretary or an engineer. And while that was a private company, I bought stock. And just out of the blue, because we created a financial instrument that's going to rip off a whole bunch of Americans. And because of that, I became one of the 4,400 millionaires created by SpaceX. You are given a hand and you're clapping for that. You're saying how great they are, and he created 4,400 millionaires. For all the funds, for all of the equity funds, for all of your 401ks that must buy SpaceX because they force the S&P 100 index fund. They have to buy SpaceX, which will keep the price up. And eventually, when that stock falls, in effect, what we would have gotten is those 4,400 millionaires who have cashed out. They would have done it on the backs of a lot of retirement plans in this country. You see, it's easy to look at the 4,400 millionaire without looking at the repercussions. But when you are a critical thinker and look at the entire picture, you see that those people who profit from an IPO, they were able to get into an IPO that in effect, they are a part of the problem. Because, yeah, their money did work for them, somebody else. But again, we have been taught not to critically think. So those 4,400 newly created millionaire will do fine if they sell in time. While a lot of people who are forced to buy this stock would be hurting. That's capitalism for you. And the fact that you cannot see it, the fact that I can explain how this works to you, Mr. Beercat, and with all the fact based info that I've given you about stock trades, financial instruments, etc., and in your mind you are unable to connect the dots, it speaks poorly of a certain group of us Americans. Not me, not most of the people in our chat. Of you, yeah. Because it shows that even given the truth and understanding, you are unable to connect the dots of something that's going to harm a lot of your fellow Americans to satisfy the wealth of just a few. You cannot see that, man. We have a lot of work to do. All right. Anyway, I'm going to start with Iran. I was on WBAI yesterday and I played this one earlier this morning. John Carter said the right thing. He says, or he is just unwilling. And you know what, John, that is even worse. When you are unwilling, it means of there is a slice of evil in you, right? Because if you are ignorant, if you are ignorant, and even if I explain something, your ignorance is such at a level that you can't understand what I'm saying, then I understand. But if you understand the science, the math of what I'm saying, and your answer is, well, shoot, I'm doing fine, I'm doing well. That is the evil. I mean, I'm gonna give a little notion here for because every day we get new people. But let me just say this. Um, because I don't follow that methodology of the willfully ignorant. I don't follow that methodology of making it on the back of others or cheating others. So I'm going to repeat something that I've told many a times. Many of people have told me that I was foolish for doing this, but I tell you what, the more I think about it, because of what I'm doing now, because I am a host of a radio show, because I'm trying to push progressive values, because I want to be an example, I try to tell the things that I've done personally wrong and also the things in this capitalist society that I've done personally right. And I can tell you one of the reasons I'm virtually broke right now is because of how much money I left on the capitalist table. Just want to say that. How much money I left on the capitalist table. Before I went full time with politics done right and this sort of stuff. I don't know if you guys remember Y2K. When Y2K came out, it was one of the biggest frauds there is on this planet. And those who partook of the fraud, they made millions. And those who did the right thing, not a pat on the back. But let me just tell you what I did. I sold a package called ComDRV. I wrote it. It's a software package that transfers information between computer systems. And the big thing about Y2K was they used to keep the date in 2 bytes. And I realized that we were getting the turn of the century, and I modified how I handled that. And my software from the 90s had the fix in it. Early 90s had the fix in it. So when all these companies, over 6,000 companies, sending me information, is this up to what do we need to upgrade to make sure that we are compliant with Y2K? And instead of saying, making a quick and dirty change, just a little change and go ahead and send it out, I said, you don't have anything to worry about. We took that into account with our software. And that has left over. I left at least, let me just say, this is the low side, a minimum of $300,000 on the table by not upgrading the software for all the people that then had my software. And that's at the low end. The reality, it's probably more than twice that many, because the amount that I think would have upgraded would have been likely much more than that. And that is way north of $300,000 left on the table. You can look it up if you want to. But anyhow, the capitalist thing to do was maximize profits at all cost. I chose not to do that because it would have been immoral to charge all these thousands of companies for something they needed not have been charged for. So, Mr. Lee the Bearcat, it has nothing to do with envy. It has everything to do with morality. And for all of you on the right who always talk about family values, who always talk about morality, who always talk about the sanctity of life, it's not that it's hypocritical what you're doing. It's deeper than hypocritical. It is downright evil. Patrick says The Black Swan, The Impact of the Highly Improbable is a very good book that outlines how risky investing is. I recommend it to Lee. Yeah, he should get some of that, right? Should get some of that. Let's go ahead and play the first video on Iran, as I spoke about, and then we'll take it on the other side. This is what I did at WBAI on Monday. Let's check it out.
Negotiators, including Vice President J.D. Vance, met in Switzerland yesterday. The U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner were joined by their Iranian counterparts, Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher-Ghalibaf, who is serving as chief negotiator, and Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi. Though Pakistani and Qatari negotiators said progress was being made, the talks were not without their drama. Vance's trip was initially delayed after Israel launched attacks on Lebanon on Friday. President Trump threatened Iranian leaders on social media on Sunday, writing, "Iran must immediately stop their highly paid proxies in Lebanon from causing trouble. If they don't, we'll hit Iran very hard again, just like we did last week, only harder." So here to help us figure out whether the peace process is functioning or not is Egberto Willies, host of KPFT's Politics Done Right, Laura Jadid, a writer at firewalledmedia.com and an Army veteran of 2 tours in the war in Afghanistan, and Dave Leventhal, Washington, D.C. correspondent and senior editor at Notice, who joins us today from New York City. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you for
Good
having
morning.
us,
Good
Jenna.
Morning.
All right. So, Egberto, I'm going to start with you and say that I know you have been highly dubious of the peace process between the US and Iran, questioning if a deal is even possible. Since the last time we spoke, the two sides have both signed a memorandum of understanding, and now there are peace talks in Switzerland. Do you still feel the same way? And if you do, why?
I think we're going nowhere fast. First of all, I think what Israel is making sure to do is ensure that we will continue to go nowhere fast, because as long as this stuff stay in some form of chaos, Israel can continue doing what it does best, and that is acquire territory from around its surrounding, which it is continuing to do. Now, that said, if I were Iran, I would go ahead and sign just about anything that, that would kind of get me the money. In other words, get me the money that is stored around the world, and then simply after I've gotten the money, I'm just saying hypothetically, do what America does best, and that is to break the treaty. Because again, there is no treaty America has ever signed that it has ever abided by. First of all, the JPCOA, that one was they they just dropped it. They dropped NAFTA. They dropped the Paris Accords. They dropped the 1968 Treaty of Laramie as soon as they found they found gold in the mountain. We don't ever America never ever holds on to its treaty. We want to get rid of the Panama Canal Treaty. So I'm saying, I think countries need to learn what we have taught them best, and that is do what is necessary for your immediate survival. And after you've survived, live on for the other day. Is this stuff in trouble? Yes, it is in trouble. Why is it in trouble? Because Israel will not allow this treaty to go by. And that's just who we are. And we are under the command right now of the plutocrats and the military industrial complex that all work together to keep this thing going.
All right. Well, Alberto, going back to you, as I mentioned, one of the big stumbling blocks, as Laura mentioned, is the actions of Israel in Lebanon. Do you buy Israel's explanation that they must secure their border against rocket attacks from Hezbollah?
No, absolutely not. I mean, the belief that a terrorist organization like Hezbollah really is going to put up a fight against Israel is mind-boggling to me. I mean, we are asked to believe so many things, and we are so willing to believe so many things as that somehow all these countries are really out to get Israel. And folks, before I say anything, I want to qualify a statement. We are not talking about Jews. We're talking about the state of Israel. It is very important to point that out because there's a distinction there, and we want to make sure never to appear or sound anti-Semitic. But the government of Benjamin Netanyahu is an evil entity that will actually cause major destruction in this world. I mean, when you're talking about impossibilities, I want to just twist a little bit here and mention, we talk about finding the nuclear material. That's an impossibility. Iran is 2.5 times the size of Texas. Do you really believe a country as advanced and smart as Iran is going to keep in one place all their nuclear material so that Donald Trump can send in ground troops to dig it up where they bomb it as if it is there? I mean, we are asked to be so unintelligent when we look at the things that are occurring in the Middle East and think that what we're seeing on TV bear any resemblance to what's really occurring. What's reported bear any resemblance to what's occurring. What we have here specifically is a country that wants to acquire land, and they're using the United States as its stooge.
Egberto and Laura, I kind of have a similar question for both of you, and that is basically, how do you see the peace process, if there even is a peace process, to play out? And Egberto, I'll start with you.
I think what they're going to do, and Jenna, actually, great question because of this. I think it just stays and it simmers. We know how to do that well. We did it with Iraq. We did it with Afghanistan. It can go on for years in the status quo as long as people are making money. As long as the defense industrial complex continue to make money, as long as enough ships go through to satisfy the world, keep prices of oil above $65. Because remember, fracking ends at $65. If oil drop substantially below 65, fracking is over. And we want to drill, baby, drill, and we want to keep that pumped up. So I think they are willing to have that just to simmer, blow something up here and there. And then we go back to the talks and blow something up here because people are making money. I know folks are dying, but guess what? They're making money.
Wow. All right. Well, unfortunately, we're going to have to leave it there. Although I hope next week we can continue our conversation about international leadership because, of course, we didn't even get a chance to talk about the fact that Britain's Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, has stepped down, which means they would be in line for, I think, like their seventh prime minister in the span of a decade. So there's lots more to discuss. But I want to thank our political panel. Laura Jadid, a writer at firewalledmedia.com and an Army veteran of 2 tours in the war in Afghanistan, Dave Leventhal, Washington, D.C. correspondent and senior editor at Notice, and Egberto Willies, host of KPFT's Politics Done Right. Thank you to everyone.
All right. Before I go on, she mentioned Starmer, right? Keir Starmer. And that's the Prime Minister of Great Britain. And what that shows is a perfect example of why centrism doesn't work. This guy is the Prime Minister of the Labour Party. And do you think these guys would have taken that opportunity to move the country left as the country wants to move? And that's why they're in trouble. And I'll tell you something that Marcus Molitza said after I speak to Patrick here. But Patrick, what's going on, my brother?
Oh, well, I wanted to comment on the war in Lebanon. We're calling Hezbollah a terrorist organization, and it's not too difficult to argue that they are, but I think that Lebanese citizens, the people, need the context that nobody else will help them, and this is the same thing in Gaza with Hamas. And what has happened is Zionist Israelis infiltrated the Lebanese government, took it over, and now that they have no care at all for the citizens there, they want them dead. And so the only people that will fight for them, who are attached to the
it's Hezbollah,
Iran, the Iranian Royal Guard or however it is, they have no other choice, and people don't die quietly. And if somebody is offering help when nobody else will, they're not going to say, "Well, I'm not 100% about the integrity you have." And when we're talking about integrity, I'd like to point out that Israel tore up all the Lebanese roads so that they could have no trade. They've been murdering entire families. They've been destroying Catholic churches. They've been destroying all sorts of extremely old historic sites. Currently, they are spraying over the entire countryside what humanitarian organizations have estimated 10,000 times the recommended dose of Roundup to render that entire area inhabitable, and that will go on for generations, which is a war crime. What Lebanon is up against is an absolute evil, and to put them above Hezbollah, to me, is just gut-wrenchingly abhorred. So I guess I'll leave it at that. But
no, but I think.
Go ahead.
I think I think you need to. We need to. One of the problems we have, right, is people don't get history, and they don't get the full history. They make it seem like all these countries are after Israel, and I want to make sure and repeat this. We're speaking about Israel, the state. We're not speaking about Jewish people, the average Jewish person here. This is not an anti-Semitic statement. This is a statement of fact. Is the before 1948, there were Jewish terrorists, and in fact, the British authorities considered what is it called? I think the Irgun and the Stern Gang, Lehi, they were considered terrorist organizations. The genesis of Israel started with quite a few terrorist Jewish Zionist organizations. That is not up for debate. So when people sit back and just think that, well, all these people want to destroy Israel, look, I am not taking a moral position here. I'm taking a moral position here. This is natural pushback from all sides. You can't go in, move people, and want them to forget all that was done to them. And when they fight back, you say, oh my God, they want to kill us. You have to come to a negotiation and put a stop somewhere. But let's be honest. Read some history. Read pre 1948 history, please. And you'll understand the animosity. When we talk about Arabs as being some sort of a evil, terrorist driving people, that's not how they got there. It is like when they talk about people of color. Let me tell you what I smile at a whole lot, and it drives me crazy. Right? I am a I'm a black guy, right? And there are people that if I go into certain places, just my presence elicit fear, right? And here's the funniest part about it. If we look at American history, I should not elicit fear, but I should be fearful in being out there. Let's look at our history. But it shows you that when you lose the ability to critically think, which is something that we have taught every single American from birth. You can believe things like Israel is all good and the Arabs are all evil, bad people. Iran is all good and the rest are. It's much more. It's a lot cleaner history than that. 1953, Americans loved Iran, but after 1979 because of what we did to Iran and they pushed back. Now they're the worst people in the world. Anything you want to say real sharp before I go to the next video, my brother?
Yeah, Zionism isn't doing anything good for humanity. And just recently, the Pentagon has named Israel as one of the most dangerous organizations in the United States.
Well, Israel is, look, let's be blunt here. By definition, by definition, Israel is a terrorist state. You cannot argue
Yes.
that. Anybody who decimates, murders, genocided a whole over 100,000 people, just clear cut, bomb, and destroy. How could anybody with a sense of morality look at that destruction and not say that is evil, that is genocide, that was done by terrorists? I'm sorry. At some point, the good thing about it is most people have already seen that or already seeing that. Okay, so let's go ahead and go there. But anyway, anything else before I move on to the next video?
No, looking forward to the video. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, my brother. Appreciate your call. Let's go ahead and listen to Maxwell Frost. Maxwell Frost, of course, is the youngest congressman in the Congress, and he had a lot to say to me at Netroots. Let's listen to it now. Welcome to another edition of Politics and Run. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Today, I'm honored to have the youngest congressman in the Congress right now.
Yep.
El Señor Maxwell Frost.
Good to
How
see you,
doing,
brother. Doing well. Good to be here, man.
Well, look,
good to be here
let me
at
tell you.
Netroots.
First of all, let me give you your kudos. When you got elected, I've been talking about Gen Zers going into the Congress and taking taken over because there's so much that the older folks have not done right.
Yeah.
And here comes you, and we got a few bit older, Summerlee and others coming in.
Yep.
First of all, thank you for running and
Of course.
doing a great job. Let's start out by asking you, how do we get more younger folk involved into our body politics?
Yeah, two main things. Number one, it's important. People have to realize this system wasn't created for young people to run for Congress and get elected,
Right.
let alone working class young people. And so there's a community aspect of this, which is making sure that we're recruiting candidates early, that we're working with them to teach them how to campaign, but that we support them in something that is very difficult. I mean, look, if I didn't have the support system I had during my campaign, I would have dropped out midway.
Let me ask you, what is that support system that you're talking
My
about?
family, my friends, people who would buy me a meal every now and then, friends who let me sleep on their couch when I experienced homelessness, when I got priced out of my apartment. And why was all this happening? I had to quit my job to run for Congress.
Right.
And I was living off of my savings, which wasn't great. The thing is, most people who run for office already are independently wealthy.
Right.
So they can afford to not have a job for a year or two. But for the average person, it's difficult. So that local system of support is so important for getting young people to run and them winning. But the second thing is institutionally, we have to get big money out of politics. We have to change our election system. We have to end Citizens United. We have to end super PACs. We have to make sure that I believe in publicly funded elections where you don't have to spend 8 hours a day trying to beg people for money to be able to spread your message. All these things, I think, will make it so we can have a Congress that looks a little bit more like the country.
Now, you've done a good job exposing alligator,
Alcatraz,
and all of that. Now, with regards to immigration, that is something that should be an issue here. You are in Florida. You have a whole lot of orange groves and all of that.
Yeah.
One of the things, the messages that I don't think is going out is that it's more than just sending these people back. These people are an integral part of
our society. Yeah.
And it's not that, and as they are gone, our economy falls. How do you, as a congressperson, intend to express that to your population?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, that's what I do, right? I mean, first is like the humanity of the thing. These are our neighbors. These are people who should not be kidnapped and human trafficked to places across the country or across the world. But the other thing is they are part of our society.
Right.
The vast majority of undocumented people have been here for over a decade.
Right.
And people have to understand, remember during COVID, our frontline workers and especially people who were taking care of our elders,
right.
If you were to deport every Haitian on TPS in the United States right now, we will lose 1/5 of our elder care workers.
Impossible to deal with.
1/5 of the folks who are taking care of our most vulnerable population are elders. It has huge impacts beyond just Haitians, everyone. Huge impacts on agriculture, on us getting our food. Huge impacts on, of course, the healthcare system, nursing, caregiving, etc. And huge impacts on construction, on housing. And this is part of the reason we've seen housing costs go up. It costs more to build a house. A lot of these companies, a lot of their workers are too scared to go to work or they've been deported or this and that. So, of course, first and foremost is the fact that we believe in the dignity of immigrants because this is a nation of immigrants and we believe no one should be kidnapped and sent somewhere else. But it is a big part of our economy.
Now, talking about AI, I believe that AI is, look, I'm an engineer by training.
Yeah.
And I do believe in, how should I say this?
Innovation.
Innovation.
Yeah, of course.
Exactly. Now, but what I think we have to have is legislation that actually regulates AI in a manner. AI is actually our knowledge base, the entire knowledge base. Anything that you've ever said is a part of your database.
Yep.
It came
We're
out
all
of
part
you.
of AI.
We're
it's using all of it.
AI.
Yeah.
My question is, when are we going to get, maybe you or some congressperson, make this statement that AI should be in the commons?
Should be in the what?
In the commons. In other words, it should be a public domain.
Oh, a public domain. I mean, this is part of the reason. I don't know if you saw Greg Casar and Bernie Sanders have put forth proposals to heavily tax AI, so we can ensure we have more programs because it's using all of our information, all of our music, every speech we've given, etc. And I agree with that. The other thing, though, that I think is really important is we need common sense guardrails to protect working people, to protect all of us. Are there some things that we can possibly use AI for in the future that would be beneficial? Of course, but here's the issue. Is that, number one, it is being run by a small group of billionaires who they are the ones right now deciding how it impacts work, how it impacts working people, how it impacts our environment. And that's the problem. And actually, I was just on a panel talking about this, that part of the issue we have in this country is we are giving away functions of the government to billionaires so they can make money off of it. People have to remember the government used to be the leader on innovation. That's why we have the internet, by the way. But we've slowly, as we've taken away funding from research, from NASA, from all this stuff, have given that to private corporations of a small group of white dudes in hoodies who are the ones essentially deciding what happens, and it's a huge issue. So we do need to have common sense regulation on AI. But I 100% agree with you. Our information essentially has been stolen from us by these CEOs.
I have yet to have a congressman sit
Mhm.
in the chair next to me
Mhm.
and made that very important statement.
It's what happened with us.
Everything that we have created from drugs. I worked
Yeah.
at NASA in my early days,
Mm.
and we are the ones who created what Elon Musk is using right now.
100%.
And he has done nothing more
Yep.
than we have done with the Apollo program, the
Exactly.
Saturn V program, and any of these programs.
Exactly.
He's just doing it with more powerful computers. and
Exactly.
we did it with very
And no government oversight.
and no government. Thank you.
This is the thing I talk about when we talk about space exploration.
Right.
NASA, if something explodes, it's obviously a huge deal. They're probably going to lose money under huge scrutiny. Elon Musk can explode a rocket every day. It don't matter because it's a private corporation. So they're
Exactly.
able to fail more, which means they're able to do more because that's what innovation
Right.
requires. And that's part of the problem. A lot of people don't know NASA right now. A lot of the big missions we see going on, it's all intertwined with SpaceX.
Right.
NASA, it's like they can't do anything without the corporation being a part of it. I'm not saying I'm against all public-private partnerships, but what we have to understand is we are acquiescing core parts of what the government has done for decades and decades and decades to billionaires.
I know you said you're not against public part. I mean, there are certain areas that, in my opinion,
Yeah.
don't belong in a public-private
Yeah.
partnership.
Yeah.
Period. I think
I agree.
healthcare doesn't belong there.
I agree.
Even NASA,
Yep.
I don't think belong there. But you know what? I really think that it's so important that we have somebody like yourself who understands these particular concepts. I have a few more questions, but I think you may be pressed for time right now. So
Yeah, we'll do one more. Let's do one more. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I want to know what right now election is an issue, and many are concerned about election security.
Yeah.
What do you think we should do in order to protect against that?
The first thing is there is no massive voter fraud or whatever the Republicans are saying, right? And I think we got to tell people the truth about what's going on. The other thing is I am down to move forward a large comprehensive voting package that we should brand as protecting the integrity of our elections.
Right.
Because what happens is I think everyone knows that there's something wrong here. A lot of those on the far right believe that it's a ton of dead people, voting, which is not really
true.
happening. But on our side, we know that, actually our elections are messed up. How? Well, not that there's a problem with the voting itself, but there's voter suppression.
Right.
There's unlimited money put in our elections by corporations and billionaires, and all these things that do rig our economy or rig our democracy. I'm not saying it's rigged like there's someone in there changing the votes. It's rigged in the way they earn votes, right? With money in politics. And I think if Democrats move forward a broad agenda to change and fix our democracy, I think we can actually even get a lot of those people on the right and the left who just know something's wrong here. And it's true, there is something wrong. It might not be what you think it is, but there's something wrong, and we have to have a big package on that.
Well, one of these days, I hope they have a panel on exactly what our current economic system is doing. And I won't use any words that can be used as sound bites because I don't want to, as far as I'm concerned. But there is something severely wrong with our economic system that we need to take care of. And I'm glad to know
we have a rigged economy.
Here we go. I'm glad to see we have Congress people like yourself that are actually doing that. Congressman
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure.
Good to see mi hermano aquí, mira.
Mi hermano de Latinoamérica.
Yeah, seguro que sí.
Muchas gracias y tenga buen día, hermano.
Igualmente. Awesome. All right. Thank you, man.
That was great, man. Thank you very much. And
thanks for having me.
Keep up doing the good work. You are really what we need out there right now, brother. Okay?
Are you based here?
I am in Houston, Texas.
Okay. If I'm ever in Houston, we'll hit you up.
Hit me up. I'm there, all right? Take care.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you.
right. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. That was the one and only Maxwell Frost. I really like this kid. I really like this kid. Anyway, you want me to show you that picture that he drew? Let me see if I can find a way to get it out for you because when you guys ask, I try my level best to comply. Save image. Let's see if it save it into a format. Let's see if that for if the W web can be retrieved. If it can be retrieved, I will show you the WebP format that's out there that our brother went ahead and drew of this. Well, you know what? Let's let me tell you something about all of you wonderful people. Y'all make me do things on the fly that are normally don't want to do on the fly because you can make a mistake. But since Lynette is always there for me, I am going to I'm processing it right now. I am going to put it on the screen for you, Lynette. You asked, and I am going to fulfill. Let's see if I can do it. If I crash my system trying to do this, folks, remember it's all Lynette. So here we go. This is this is our good friend Jason. This is what he sees when he sees me on the screen. I love it, brother. Hey, I did all the processing in real time. There you go, Lynette. Is that good enough for you, sis? Is that all right? I'm gonna let it cover my face for a while. Now all I need to do is run some AI on that guy and let it move like this, right? Thank you, my brother. I love I you don't know guys how much I love my audience, man. You guys are the best. You guys are the best. And this is let me just say this is hard work as hell, right? I mean, I keep some crazy hours. But let me tell you something. Just because you guys out there, it feels good. Like when somebody does something like this. How do you think that makes me feel? It's like cool. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Anyway, last subject of the day. Last subject of the day. And by the way, when I give you my kudos and all of that, it is from here. So even though you see me fighting with brother Lee the Bearcat every day, uh, you know, he knows he's here every day. He's looking for a change. Bearcat, I know you're looking for a change. You're looking for that trip that's going to trip you over. But that's you like us here, brother Bearcat. That's why you're here in the mornings and the afternoons because we're a cool bunch here. You like us. You remember what Sally Field did, right? I finally found out you like me. Well, I'm telling you, Lee the Bearcat, you like us, our PDR posse. You know what I need to do? You know what I need to do? Yeah, I'm going to spin after the program. I have to go spin because I have a long night. I'm going to be writing a lot tonight. I'm going to be passing a few of my stuff through AI to get some shortcuts, and then I'm going to be writing all the other stuff. Yeah, so I got a bunch of writing to do tonight. Vegan Cindy said no Joe tonight. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about what's going on, and I think I can put that on the screen if I and this is remember what Donald Trump said, right? Nothing was going to happen. They were just taking out fraud out of the SNAP program and all that crap. We always knew that was false. Well, here it is, guys. Over 800 kids thrown off of SNAP. Over 800. Over 800,000 kids. Where's your heart? Millions losing SNAP, including children, is an emergency that Congress needs to fix now before more people are hurt. An analysis updated Monday by the Center of Budget and Policy Priorities estimated that millions of people, including more than 800,000 children, have lost supplemental nutrition assistance program benefits since Republicans 2025 one big beautiful bill took effect, and it's going to be more because there are more that's going to be kicking in. In total, CVPP estimates that SNAP participation nationwide fell by more than 4 million people, 10%, between the law's July 2025 enactment and March 2026, with declines especially pronounced in Arizona, which has seen enrollment fall by more than 50%. Wow. CVPP finds that in 13 states with available data, 808,000 children have stopped receiving SNAP assistance since July, which it notes accounts for nearly half of the 1.7 million person decline among people of all ages in those states. The number of people losing access to SNAP is projected to grow in the coming months, given that the budget law biggest changes to the program won't take effect until next year. After the election. After the election. So the only way to save these people from the pain above and beyond the SNAP cuts now is to ensure not one Republican gets elected in the next election, because they're not going to go against this. Starting in 2027, most states will have to pay between, listen to this, 5 and 15% of SNAP benefit costs, totaling hundreds of millions of dollars a year in many states, explains CVPP. And the amount a state will have to pay will be based on current error rates, factoring in errors that states are making today. These drastic funding changes may incentivize states to take drastic measures to reduce their payment error rates quickly and cut program costs, even if it means delaying or improperly denying benefits to eligible people, the center adds. Katie Burke, senior policy analyst at CVP, commented that the latest data show that the changes made in the GOP budget law appear to be driving for greater harm than many anticipated, as states have raced to minimize the exposure to those massive new costs. To hell with the poor. Screw the poor. This is the party of family values. This is the party that believes in the sanctity of life. This is the party that says it cherishes children. Katie Berg, many people who remain eligible for SNAP on paper, including kids, are losing the benefits they need. Millions losing SNAP, including children, is an emergency that Congress needs to fix now. Tara Hoops, director, economic analysis at Chamber of Progress, described the GOP SNAP cuts as disastrous, with kids losing much needed food assistance thanks to policies that are cruel and ineffective. The last time SNAP participation fell this sharply, this fast, was after the 1996 welfare reform law that cut 2.2 million people off food assistance for over 8 months. We are already seeing almost twice the damage, and the unemployment rate has remained flat. Policy analyst Michael Linden describes the impact of the GOP's budget law on the SNAP program as the memorial reflecting pool of keeping kids from going hungry, a reference to President Trump's calamitous attempted renovation of the iconic pool located near the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. Folks, evil. When we speak about this administration being evil, we're not talking in hyperbole here, folks. John Carter says these cuts taking place after the election was by design. Exactly. And John, what we have to do, and I hope we are going to be strategizing that over the weekend at the conventions on how to market, because as you know as well as I do, John, not your group, but Democrats in general are lousy marketers and poor funders of those people like your group who need to be funded out there to get the job done. So we hope that as Democrats collect the billions of dollars they will be collecting for this election, as people realize they're going to win in a landslide and they try to buy in, we hope that those that are doing good work, like your group, John, and many others, the work that our uh, in this group out there in the field, we hope it's made a bit easier for you. One can hope, right? One can hope. Anyway, we're close to the end of the program. We got about 3 minutes. If anybody want to make a quick call, I can take a quick call for 1 minute. If anybody wants to make a quick call, that's 281-823-7747, 281-823-7747. I'll wait about 30 seconds, and then if that doesn't come, I'm going to give my pitch, asking those of you who have the wherewithal to please become subscribers, paid subscribers. By the way, Lita Bearcat, you're here every day. Are you a subscriber? I never actually, I don't even know how to check the records on you. But anyway, look, we have got to do better to our fellow person and much more. Okay, I see it ringing. I need to find it. For some reason, I can't. Oh, there it is. I'm coming to you now, Ray. All right, Mr. Brackens, 1 minute, my dear brother.
Real quick, we just got to keep on helping remind people what evil is and stop normalizing what is not evil. That's pretty much all I got to say.
Thank you for saying that. We have to stop. Thank you for that. Let me tell you something, Ray. That is the word, not normalizing evil. And I think we have been doing too good a job of that. And I think I'm guilty as well. Certain things that I let slide that shouldn't slide. Thanks for saying that, brother. Anything else real quick? Real quick.
That's all I got. I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, my brother. You have a good one. You take care, my brother. All right, look. Lynette is reminding us that the summer Zoom Iced Coffee with Egberto is on Friday, July 10th between 7 and 9 p.m. Central, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 to 9 p.m. Western, okay, Pacific. And I'm going to put that in both chats right now. Thank you for putting that out there, Lynette. You are wonderful, and you're a good traffic cop. You're our best traffic cop in the chat. Let's just put it that way. You're the best traffic cop. And of course, our beautiful Brittany is in the house. Let me tell you something, guys. I have the best audience. I'm going to go over by a minute because I want to call out Brittany. Because you want to know why I love my peeps? This woman left work and brought me in Pennsylvania a Panamanian meal. Do you know how that touches somebody? Out of her way. She's not Panamanian. She don't know about this stuff necessarily. Love you, girl. Love you, girl. Love you, girl. I mean, that was one. Well, I love all of you, but you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, please consider becoming paid subscribers of Politics Done Right. Go to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter if you're not on Substack. If you're on Substack, just hit that subscribe button and become a paid subscriber if you can. You make a difference, and I mean that from the depths of my heart. You make a difference. You allow me to make that trip that I'm going to make to Corpus Christi to go ahead and get all the information. Our brother John Cotter should be out there as well. You guys make this stuff happen. So please consider being subscribers. I got to get out of here now. Otherwise, I'm off to cut this stuff too tight when I'm processing it. Anyway, love you all. Reach me at info@politicsdoneright.com. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.